Today's fourth video viewers for you. Firstly, we have some pictures related to the Eid which was celebrated today across Ethiopia. How did people of Tigray, Muslims of Tigray celebrate Eid? What about Fano? What about Oromo Liberation Army, Gondar, where religious clashes erupted last week? How was Eid celebrated there? What about Addis Ababa? How large was the gathering in Addis Ababa? We have a picture for you showing that it was perhaps the largest Muslim religious gathering in Africa, it seems. Secondly, in a previous video yesterday, I reported about invitations being sent from Ethiopian PM office to Orthodox church leaders for a dinner. It was a luncheon, not a dinner, viewers. And we were discussing about Abune Mathias, that will he attend this program due to be hosted by Ethiopian PM Abiy, because PM Abiy, Abune Mathias relations have not been very ideal because Abune Mathias, a Tigrayan, he has been speaking against atrocities committed against Tigrayans. So did he attend the luncheon hosted by PM Abiy? And lastly, viewers, we have a new story about an ENDF general, a Tigrayan, who was arrested in November 2020 when Ethiopian government forces, federal regional forces and Eritrean forces launched a military offensive on Tigray. He was arrested back then, he was charged, and some Tigray-backed news sources say the general has died while he was in prison. Questions are being raised about his death, about the circumstances surrounding his death. Firstly, viewers, we have some pictures for you regarding Eid prayers held across Ethiopia on Monday. Have a look at this first picture. The picture is from Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital, where a conflict was also seen. This was the gathering in Addis Ababa of Muslims offering religious Eid prayer. Now, what I want to say is that I haven't seen such a large Muslim religious gathering in Africa in recent months since I started covering Horn of Africa and Africa. Perhaps for me, it was the largest Muslim religious gathering in Africa, which I have seen so far. Secondly, we have another picture for you. In this picture, a volunteer, a Muslim, can be seen trying to stop angry Muslims. We know that in Addis Ababa there was a conflict, a law and order situation developed there. Tear gas was fired by a police official. Then there were clashes reportedly between security forces and some Muslim community members. But this volunteer can be seen stopping Muslims. He is also a Muslim. So that is what is required, what should happen. Thirdly, how did OLA celebrate Eid? We have some pictures for you. Obviously, Muslims are part of OLA as well, Oromo Liberation Army. You can see a picture shared by OLA-backed news sources. Fourthly, Fano Amhara region-based militia. Its members have also been seen with Muslim Fano members. Fano has obviously Muslim participation too. In a previous video yesterday, I shared a message from Hassan Karimo, a top Fano commander of Gondar. He is a Muslim. So here Fano fighters can be seen with Muslims who celebrated Eid today. What about Gondar, where last week around 20 Muslims were killed and some Christians too in religious clashes. And we know that last night North Gondar Ulema Council issued a statement urging the people of Gondar to stay at home. They should offer Eid prayers at home. We can say that largely there were no religious gatherings in Gondar. We have some pictures for you. You can see empty mosques in Gondar. People offered prayers, Eid prayers, mostly at home. Mostly. We did not see any large gatherings, especially in the area of conflict where clashes happened between Muslims and Christians. Tigray viewers, yes, in Tigray, in Mekelle, some gatherings were held. Muslims offered Eid prayer. You can see some pictures. And the Muslims protested as well. They were holding some placards with messages. What was written on the placards? Firstly, the placards had the writings like we condemn the destruction of Al-Najashi Mosque, which was destroyed while Tigray was under attack from government forces, Ethiopian maritime forces. Secondly, Muslim countries should stop supporting Tigray genocide. Thirdly, siege should come to an end, and such messages were written on these placards held by participants who offered Eid prayer in Tigray's capital, Mekelle. Overall, the celebrations were peaceful, except an incident which happened in Addis Ababa. Secondly, viewers, on Monday, Ethiopian PM Abiy hosted a luncheon for leaders of Ethiopian religious leaders of Christian denominations. Yesterday, an Orthodox Church Service Association announced boycott of the invitation shared by Prime Minister Office. Did Abune Mathias, Patriarch of Orthodox Church, attend the luncheon hosted by PM Abiy's government? Yes. You can see a picture on your screen. Abune Mathias attended the luncheon hosted by PM Office on Monday. PM Office says the luncheon was hosted in connection with Easter. But the purpose of this luncheon was to take church elders on board, to pacify them, because we know that in recent weeks, religious tensions have been rising between Orthodox Christians and other faiths. In some incidents, some persons have been killed as well, like in Gondar, like in SNNPR, Silte zone. Before that, we saw confrontation between Orthodox followers and Oromia government forces. Then there have been tensions between Addis Ababa government and Orthodox Church as well regarding the ownership of Meskel Square. The church claimed the ownership of the square. Some other faiths, they have also written letters to Addis Ababa government claiming the ownership of Meskel Square. So, several issues. The purpose of this meeting, this luncheon seems to be an attempt to improve relations between the church and the government. Lastly, viewers, we have a new story from Addis Ababa, where a Tigrayan general, member of Ethiopian National Defense Force, has died. He's been in prison since November 2020. His name is General Gebremedhin Fekadu. He's also called Vadi Nacho. Why was he arrested? Where was he killed? And did he die natural death, or circumstances surrounding his death are mysterious? He was arrested in November 2020 when Ethiopian Federal Regional Forces, Eritrean Forces, launched a military offensive on Tigray. He was working as head of ENDF communication department back then. We know that on 3rd of November 2020, Tigray forces launched attacks on Northern Command bases in Mekelle, Adigarat, I think Agula as well, in different parts of Tigray. And in those attacks, some ENDF soldiers were killed as well, reportedly. Back then, Gebremedhin Fekadu and other ENDF members who were from Tigray, they were arrested. Gebremedhin Fekadu was charged with treason, that he helped Tigray forces in their attack on ENDF Northern Command bases in Tigray. So he was facing a trial as well. Don't know if he was sentenced or not, we don't know. But he was facing a trial of treason, reportedly. And he was in prison. He has been in prison since November 2020. Now he has died. Question is, how did he die? Did he die natural death? Or he was tortured, or he died due to some other reason? Tigray-backed news sources say that circumstances surrounding his death are mysterious. And so far, Ethiopian government has not officially spoken in detail about the cause of death of General Gebremedhin Fekadu. He worked as head of UN peacekeeping missions as well in Somalia, in Rwanda, in Darfur, Sudan. But you see that this Tigray conflict has devastated Ethiopian National Defense Force. Tigrayan members, they are seeking asylum. In a previous video, we reported about more than 500 Tigrayan members of UN's ENDF contingent in Sudan, Abiy, who have refused to return home. They have sought asylum in Sudan. So Tigrayan members of Ethiopian National Defense Force, they have been under pressure. They have been put in prisons as well. And thousands are still either in prison, or they are not actively participating in ENDF's work. And I think 3 days ago, Ethiopian National Defense Force released a statement about Tigrayan ENDF members who sought asylum in Abiy. And ENDF said in the statement that Tigrania-speaking members of ENDF, they were at home and their salaries had not been discontinued. So Tigrania-speaking members of ENDF, they are not actively involved in ongoing ENDF operations. Either they are in prison or they are at home, as ENDF says. There must be independent investigation into the death of General Gebremedhin Fekadu. How did he die? Thank you for watching.